So in the last class, uh, we could able to understand the data processing instructions, right? So different data processing instructions, mainly with respect to these data processing instructions, will be working with respect to uh, arithmetic and logic unit. Whenever we say data processing instructions, the instructions will be working with respect to arithmetic logic unit. So all the operations are carried out in ALU. And if I want to carry, if I want to add with carry, then we have ADC, add, like this. Different instruction set are available for us with respect to ARM or Cortex M3 processor. Last class we also discussed a simple instruction called move, how it works. Okay, these were had been covered in a previous class. So the simple C program, how we try to convey the same thing in assembly level language. Further, moving with the arithmetic instructions, add with the carry, add and reverse subtraction we carried. We could able to understand how RSD works. Now today we will see one more instruction, how, that is yeah, subtract S instructions. How actually subtraction is going to be carried. Mainly, this subtract instruction is useful for decrementing the loops whenever um, subtraction S stands for again a suffix which update my carry flag. Another way it is nothing but a APSR flag status is going to be updated here. So we'll take one simple example and we'll see how actually this particular instruction works. Okay. Now assume that subtraction, we are trying to subtract the immediate value 1 from the value 1 that is stored in one of the register, the named R1. Now once again after performing the value, so I'm trying to subtract 1 and 1, the output is 0. Now why we are trying to make such operation, just to understand how the status flag works. Again output will be 0, that is going to be stored in register R1 and it updates by CPSR or APSR flag with Z and C. This is before execution. I just named here small n, small z, small c, small vq, where n is negative, z is zero flag, c is carry flag, v is overflow flag, and saturation flag. Now content of R1 is 1. Now within the ALU, I am trying to perform subtraction with R1 register is by output register, which means the after the operation that is performed R1 and 1, the again the resultant is going to be stored in my R1 register itself. So then after execution, R1 will be updated with what value? With 0, right? So we'll see this operation by performing in Keel, and we'll see how output is going to be varied. Okay, so I'll just take one or two examples on Keel so that you will understand these operations in much better way. So as usual, you already familiar with the Keel usage. So double click on Keel and you're going to get this window. So I'll just close whatever the project were there, previous project. Now I'll say click new project, just to go through the procedure, how to create the .s file and how we should write a program in assembly level language. Now little bit different the way we try to write this programs. Okay, and I'll say example 1. Save this program. Now we need to select same thing. Like I say, I'll go with and click on ARM, the first iteration. You can go for, we have a different family here. Okay, for time being, I'll just go with ARM 7, the first itself. So because the instructions more or same for ARM7 as well as Cortex M3. So I'll just show you how to work with ARM7, and later on you can also try the same thing in by selecting Cortex M3. Okay, here you have a option. It's a Cortex M3 based microcontroller. Now I'll just select on this. It's a 32-bit RISC microcontroller. Even that is also 32-bit. Click OK. Then go to source, right click, add new item. Now earlier we used to select C file. Now we are supposed to select ASM file, which have a dot extension of .s. Now I'll just say example _1 add to this file. I have a code here. I'll just copy paste and then I'll okay. This is a simple program. Basically, I'm trying to move the content 2 into R1, 3 into R2, 5 into R3. So this symbol indicates the immediate value, and this is probably you might have not aware. This is the first time that you are seeing area, and while writing the program, make sure that you should not start with from this position. If you are trying to start from this position, so it will give an error because the first space, this space is going to be allocated. It has its own syntax method because we are trying to write assembly level language. How when you write an C programming, you in turn when you compile it, you are trying to convert that language into assembly level language. That is in this form. Okay, when I write assembly level language, this is also still not sufficient for my processor to execute it, right? So once again, this instructions has to be converted into the form of hexadecimal values or a complete binary file. Now once again, when we write this, we need a one more thing, that is assembler directive, we call it as, which directs my assembly level language to the assembler. So what we are supposed to do, so just like a compiler converting assembly level C to assembly level language, we also have a assembler directive. So assembler directive will direct the assembly programming what it has to be performed. Similarly, so this area is a keyword, assembler directive we call this, which directs my assembler. And we say that we have some name, so some operations that I'm trying to perform. So I need to say that whether it is to be fitted in a code region, because ultimately all comes with perspective of memory. Whenever I write a particular instructions, so the first infrastructure I should make available is the memory. So unless you give the area or unless you provide the space for your instructions, now no question of execution itself. First, I should make an arrangement. This is something like whenever you arrange a function, make sure that you arrange sitting arrangements, right? Similarly, whenever you write the instruction, it's always you should take care about memory. So sufficient memory should be allocated. So similarly, that I'm trying to allocate 2 immediate value to the R1. I'm trying to allocate 3 to the immediate R3. Now there is an execution called move R1. These are not a code. So these programs must be stored in one of the memory. So that's where we try to say that through assembler directive, I'm trying to say that it is a code memory I need, that it should be only read only. So my processor should read this and execute it. There is no, I'm not trying to write back to that particular memory. That's what we also have a read write option also, that we will use when we are trying to write back to our memory. Okay, so which means processor performs the operations, later on it will give it back to the memory. So in such a way, in such cases we will be using read write here instead of read only. So these are the assembler directive area, which specifies that whether it is a code region or data region. So and that code region should have some name. So it is a name variable, just like a variable you can use any name, put comma, then code region, once again put comma, then read only or read write or write only. It depends upon the application that what you are trying to write. So entry and end, just like a the start of the semicolon, the flower bracket, and end of the flower bracket in your C programming, right? So uh, actually, to be strictly speaking, the conversion, those flower brackets in turn will be having some equivalent meaning. So the equivalent meaning of that is nothing but entry and end. Now here we try to write some instructions. Now I am trying to write a 3 move instructions. Very simple job that you are supposed to be performed. And now this is something like a your while loop. I am trying to continuously monitoring this region. That's it. So B stands for branch. Stop. Stop is nothing but a variable or label, we call it as. This gives me an address where to jump. When I say that branch, so I am trying to jump to the location where, once again back here itself, it is nothing but address providing. So all the time in in assembly programming, so whatever you write here, the first region, this first region is said to be, or it is reserved for only labels. Labels are nothing but address providers. Okay, whenever we use looping style, looping structure, we try to use the labels, because after completion of loop, or if we are into the loop, we are supposed to tell from which location it has to be, the looping has to perform. So in that perspective, we are supposed to provide this address. Now address will be for in the form of label. That's it. So now, as usual, save the program and build this. Check for the errors. So there are no errors and warnings as such. So once again, rebuild the program. Now, as usual, start and debug the session. Now you can observe on the leftmost corner here, you can see the different registers: R0, R1, R2, R3, R12, general purpose registers. R13, it is already we have studied stack pointer. R14, LR register, link register. R15 is nothing but PC, program counter. In RM7, since I chosen that RM7, it's program status register. Here it is, they called it as a current program status register. In Cortex M3, we called it as an application program status register. No much difference at all. Now, right now, the N flag is 0. 0 flag is also value 0. Carry is also 0. Overflow flag is 0. These are all interrupt thing. That's it. Now, you just go for executing this. Observe carefully the value of R1, R2, R3, which is going to be get the value of 2, 3, and 5. Here you have a step-by-step execution unit. So you can go for using F11 or make use of this. Right now the content is 0. And look at the program counter, PC. PC right now it is at 0th location, which is nothing but start of your program. Now I'll just click one time. Also you can see that the alteration of PC address, now pointer is pointing to this instruction. Now I'll click on this. Look at this. It jumped to the next address location. Now it is pointing this instruction to be executed. wherein move r1 comma 2 already executed, so we got r1 equal to 2. Now once again I go for one more step, so you can also observe that this address, so move r2 comma 3, this particular instruction address is 04. Okay, now what will be the next address? So it will be jumping. So on the other day I told you the width of the memory is uh, 8, and it will jump by 4 bytes. So next address will be 8. Look at this. It jumped to this as address. Now PC is pointing to this location, which means that this instruction is to be executed, and we already executed move r2 comma 3, and r2 we got 3, right? Now once again I'll execute this. So r3 we got 5. So and next the PC is trying to point out here. Again, if you perform the same operation, it will be performed. So probably we're not able to see it. That's so this is how a simple execution of simple assembly level program is done in your Keil programming. Okay. Now one more very important point. So here disassembly, if you observe this particular window, here we have r1 equal to 2, r2 equal to 3, r3 equal to 5. This. And what about this? So this is the equivalent opcode. When I say that move will be having its equivalent hexadecimal value that is going to be stored in your memory. So this is the equivalent opcode which is going to be written in hexadecimal 32-bit value. It also have its own 32-bit hexadecimal value. Move is once again all 3 instructions will be having the same value, right? E3A01, E3A02. So E3A is common, so that's where it is having a same hexadecimal value. Okay, so now these are the address of that particular instruction. So this instruction address is 00, this instruction address is 04, this instruction address is 08. So that on the left hand side, if you write here in the programming, if you start from here, so you will going to get error, because this area is reserved for only providing the memory space or address of the memory. So that's why we say that stop. So this is equivalent, having its equivalent address here, right? So again the same thing, branch and stop. So it will be moving here itself. It will check the address, program counter will fetch this address, and it will come back here, and it will fetch again, and again it will be coming back here. So that once you're done with this particular program, it will be residing in this particular address location itself. So this is you need to understand with respect to assembly level language how the programs are constructed. So now let me go for a simple operations, like I'll perform add. I can also perform R1, R2 and R3 all at a time. What happens now? The destination register is R1. Once I perform the registration, add value, all the content of R1, R2, R3 getting added, but result will be stored in R1 once again. You can check that value. So save this program and run the program. Check. So I'll just run at, you can, if you want to go for run at one slot, one shot, you can run this. Okay, and keep observing that how R1 value is going to be changed. So R1 it fetches 2, again R2 fetches 3, R3 is going to be 5, and once again check the R1. So 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. So I'm going to get, okay, R2 and R3 is added. Oh sorry, R2, these two register are getting added, R2 and R3. In turn 5 plus 3 is getting added, content of R2 and R3 getting added, and R1 is replaced by sum of R2 plus R3, right? So this is the instruction, how the add instruction is going to be performed. Okay. Now I'll just take this particular example wherein RSB where R0 is 0, R1 is 7, and how the value, whether we're going to get this value or not. I'll just make this changes here itself. What is to be read here? R1 is 0 and R2 7 7. 0x 0 0 0 0 0 0. I'll just say 7 7. Now I'll remove these two instructions. I'll apply RSB. RSB of what? RSB of R0 R1 with immediate value 0. R0 is my destination register. Okay, here it is R1 is my destination register. R2 comma immediate value 0. So need not to have this semicolon, because semicolon, what, see, after semicolon is applied, like whatever you write it will be commented. That's it. Save the program, build this, and again run this program. Right now CPSR content observes here. Now after performing this, n flag should be 1, right? So 77 we got in R2. Once you're done with this, yeah. Okay. Now R1 value is F89, right? It is not showing because here we have not put a suffix s. That's it. That's the reason n is not getting updated. I'll check with this. Let us see. Okay, here still values are not updated. Okay, once I done with this, you can observe this. I'll rerun this, reset. So once again, it will take the first value 0, and next R2 is getting updated with 7 7. R3 and as well as n simultaneously you observe. So here n value is 1, which means that the number is negative, and the output is it will update the output by FFFF89. So I think now you got to know about the importance of status flag. Yes. So if you want to update your APSR, then make sure that you use the suffix s. So it updates your flag register. Else it won't. Okay. So I will come back to the Google Meet. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Any doubts? Guys, shall we proceed further? Okay. I hope you got to know about how to use this key for assembly level language. You got it? Okay. Now let me take this particular example and we'll move further. Okay. How the subtract s works. Okay. Now same thing. SUBS, how it works. So I already have one content with this one. So let me take R1, and R1 is getting subtracted with immediate value 1. So R1 is already having some value. So I'll just take this R1, or I'll just comment this. I'll make here itself 0, 1. Okay. I'll change this to R1. Now SUBS. So no worries, like you can use the small case or uppercase, no worries for that. Okay, R1 is the destination register. What operation I should perform? Subtract R1 with immediate value 1. Run this program. So we are expecting that 0 flag and carry flag should be high, both. One error. What's that error? End of line. Okay, it was not commented properly. Done. Okay, now R1 we got 1, and now it is supposed to subtract this value. Now go to this flag register, see here. Okay, now once after subtraction, so I'm trying to update what is the value of this. So once you use this subtract yes, R1 minus R1 minus 1. So it is showing that the result is 0, hence the 0 flag and carry flag are both are 1. So this is all about subtract instruction. We'll go with the next instruction. So you can write a sample C programming or assembly programming, like to perform y equal to a plus b plus c. Now here the same code where a equal to 2, b equal to 3 and c equal to 5 we have taken. Now what we do, I try to store the result in one of the register called y, and here we mentioned it as output R0. That's it. Where A is mapped down to R1, B is mapped down to R2 register, C is mapped down to the R3 register with immediate values. Now I perform add R0, R1 and R2 I will add it so that I'll get A plus B. So again what we do, add R0 where this operation is nothing but something like Y is once again taken, and that is getting added with C. So that R0 and R3 where the result is once again stored in R0. A very simple program. You can try this in your key software. Now another important topic with respect to going for one more instruction. Before moving for another instruction, I should give this as a prerequisite so that you understand in a much better way. Now, whenever you perform any operations in ALU, maybe addition, subtraction, or division, whatever the operation that you perform, two register will be moving the data. So, as we in the earlier case, you can see here R1 and R2, R1 and R2. The result is R0. Look at this. R1 and R2 are moving to ALU, and R0 is my output. R0 is my output. So whenever I move the data to the arithmetic logic unit, so one of the register will move the data without any pre-processing. As it is. But another register Either you can move as it is, or you will be moving that value to the shift register basically. Then that value is sent to arithmetic logic unit, which means that when you send any data to barrel shifter, it is possible for you to perform the left or right shift then and there itself. Then you can move to arithmetic logic unit. So before entering into this ALU, if a data is supposed to be shifted by left or right by 1 or 2 bits, so perform that before it entering into the ALU operations, ALU unit. So this helps us in saving our time in many of the way. So if I want to multiply the data by 2 or divide the data by 2, then the value should go to arithmetic logic unit. In such cases, barrel shifter will help us. So the register Rn enters the ALU without any pre-processing of the register, and it performs logical left shift or logical right shift as well onto the RM register, and before moving it to the before the destination register moving to ALU. This is one of the important concept in uh, RM processing, where every ALU is connected to a registers, but one of the register is connected to barrel shift register. The barrel shifter, what is the operation of shifting? If I shift by one position, what is the meaning of that? Pen is not working. Okay. If I shift the operation, if assume that there is a data called 0001. Okay. If I shift by left, what will be the output? 0010. What it happened? That value is got 2. Earlier the value was 1. It went with 2. It is nothing but I'm trying to multiply that value by power of 2. 2 to the power of 1. That's what is happening there. Again 0010 is shifted by left. What happens? You will going to get 0100. So which is nothing but the answer is 4. Which is nothing but it is trying to be multiplied by power of 2. 2 to the power of 2. In such a way, left shift operation we always call them as a multiplication operation by power of 2. Same thing. If the data is 1000, I'll just write here. So if the data is 100, sorry. So look at this. Okay, if I right shift by this data, what will be the output? If I perform the right shift, so this will be 0100, right? So right shift. So earlier it was 8. Now the value is 4. What happens? What happened here? The operation is almost divide by 2, right? Divide by 2, which is nothing but power of 2 we call as, right? So again, if you take 0100 as the input, if you make another right shift, so what will be the output? 0010, right? So again, so earlier the value was 4, now again the value became 2. Again, if you move this right shift 0, 0, 1. So again the value becomes 1. So what is happening when I move right towards the right shift? So it is divide by 2 operation, right? Now if I shift by left, what is the operation that is performed? So it is going to be, so multiplication by 2, right? So this is the operation that is going to be performed when you perform a shift left or shift right operations. So these points you are supposed to understand. So accordingly you can understand the next coming instruction. Now just try to analyze what will be the output here. So LSL is the instruction to perform the shift operation within the barrel shift. We also have LSR for right shift. We also have ROR, rotate right. Within that, these are all the operations that is going to be performed within your barrel shift. The basic operation of barrel shifter is to perform shift operations. Now look at this. My ALU have a simple instruction, move R3, R2, LSL2. Now R3 is non-pre-processing directive. Directly it will going to get the, so this is the output. Now we have a R2 register. Now this R2 register will be containing 5. And this is going to be operated with, in a this R2 is sent to ALU. Before sending to ALU, it is coming to your barrel shift. So now the value of the second register is 5. Now within this, what I am operation that is I am trying to perform, left shift the value by 2 times. By 2 times, which means one time it shift will going to get multiplied by 2. Second time shift will going to be multiplied by 4, right? So now R2 is getting added with, R2 is getting multiplied with 4. So therefore, R2 is getting multiplied with 4, that is 5 into 4, 20. And then that value is moved to R3. So now, if you see observe the output, R3 was replaced by 20 and R2 is still the same value because here the value is 5. The value of 5 is sent to barrel shifter. Here I will shift the register, shift the value by 2 times. Then the shifted value is sent to here. So R2 will remain as it is. It is not altered at any point of time. You got this concept? So not need to confuse that why R2 is not getting altered. Okay. Any doubts here? We can perform this. I'll just take R2 equal to 5. R2 equal to 5. So next value, move R3, comma, immediate value 8. We have chosen 8, right? Here. Okay, R2 5, R3 8. So I need to perform the move operation here. Move operation. R2 destination register is R3. R2 operation with LSL with immediate value 2, which means 2 times I need to shift the data. Save this, run the program. Okay, now go through the step-by-step execution. R2 is 5, R3 is 8, then it is performing this. So the output should be R3 is 14. What happened? R2 is 5, 5 into 4, 20. Okay, 20 in terms of hexadecimal value. The decimal 20 in terms of hexadecimal value, what you will get? 1 4, right? So this equivalent value, right? So equivalent value of 20 in hexadecimal value. Where is it? Hex. Okay. See, this is what the answer we are getting. Okay. R3 is going to be put in all the values 0x, all the values are in hex values. Okay. Is this clear? Any doubts? Again, I am in the chat room. LSL concept clear aita? Any doubts here? Are you there? Okay. Now, you tell me the answer for the next question. Now, what will be the output? What will be the output for R0 and R1? I'll give just 2 minutes of time. I'll come back to chat room, copy this question, and let me know the answer for add R0, R1, R1, LSL 1. So very simple. R1 is containing 5, so that it is not going to be unaltered. It is unaltered. I'll keep 5 as it is. R0 is the destination register, where which will going to get the operation that is done on R1. The content of R1 is shifted by 1 times. Shifted by 1 times is nothing but multiplication by 2. That is, check and get me the answer. What's the answer? So give me answer for this, so that we'll wind up the session now. A 1010. Give me the answer in hexadecimal value. Vijay Lakshmi is saying A. Arjun. Very few students are responding. What about others? Okay, fine. We'll check the answer through writing a instruction in a keel. Right? ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರ ತಾನೆ? I hope it is not your division that you are telling. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅಂತ. Good. If you are telling the answer, that's very good. So what we need to perform? I am trying to perform add operation here. So let me take these two values, R2 and R3. What values we have taken? R0 equal to 0. So let me take R0 equal to 0. And another register R1. R1 is containing 5. Then this operation is LSL by 1. R0 is the destination register. R1, comma R1. Right. So we'll stop this debug section. Save the program. Run this. So 5, add the operation. R0 is getting F. YF. YF. Check your answers once again. Look at this. R1 is performed LSL operation. That is R1 content. So content of R1 here is moved to barrel shifter, which means that 5 is moved to here. So 5 into 2, 10. Okay, 10 is going to be present in here. Then again we are sending R2 as it is. Sorry, R1. R1 is sending through another way without processing. R1 is sending here itself as it is. Right? So here through the barrel shifter, R1 and here also R1. R1 here, R1 here. R1 comma R1. Through a non-processing, I am going to get R1 as 5. Through a pre-processing, I am going to get a 50. 10. So therefore, 10 plus 5, I am going to get 15, not 10. A. Is that point is clear? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? Did you get the concept here? Okay, fine. So this is how you should think. And okay, let us wind up the class for the day. We'll continue the session on next working day. Okay. I wish you all a very happy Yugadi festival and be safe at your homes.